I'm not a creative person. Follow the rules. Don't ask questions. Don't be different. Stay within the lines. There is only one way. Don't be foolish. Be practical. Be serious. Think of your image. That's not logical. It's not practical. It's never been done. It can't be done. It didn't work for them. We tried that before. It's too much work. We can't afford to make a mistake. It will be too hard to administer. We don't have the time. We don't have the money. Yes, but play is frivolous. Failure is final. If you think you have a great idea, don't let anyone talk you out of it even if it sounds foolish. Don't let yourself or anyone else subject you to creativity killers. After all, you can't do something new and exciting if you force yourself to stay in the same old rut. Don't just work harder at the same old thing. Make a change. In this video, Harness Creative Thinking from How Successful People Think book by the great author, speaker, and pastor John C. Maxwell, I promise you great pleasure, knowledge, and benefit. With wisdom story, something to eat, drink, plant for just one coin in the end. Welcome to Rebook Channel, a channel that will help you learn skills from authors and speakers, international personalities, to step towards success and wealth in your life. If you are interested, honor me by subscribing. Let's get started. Harness Creative Thinking. The joy is in creating, not maintaining. Vince Lombardi. Harnessing creative thinking involves utilizing and developing one's ability to come up with new and innovative ideas. It can involve techniques such as brainstorming, free associating, and looking at problems or tasks from different perspectives. It also involves being open to new ideas and experiences, as well as being willing to take risks and think outside the box. Additionally, it's important to practice and develop creative thinking skills and to create an environment that encourages and fosters creative thinking. Creativity is pure gold, no matter what you do for a living. Annette Moser-Wellman, author of The 5 Faces of Genius, asserts, the most valuable resource you bring to your work and to your firm is your creativity. More than what you get done, more than the role you play, more than your title, more than your output, it's your ideas that matter. Despite the importance of a person's ability to think with creativity, few people seem to possess the skill in abundance. If you're not as creative as you would like to be, you can change your way of thinking. Creative thinking isn't necessarily original thinking. In fact, I think people mythologize original thought. Most often, creative thinking is a composite of other thoughts discovered along the way. Even the great artists, whom we consider highly original, learned from their masters, modeled their work on that of others, and brought together a host of ideas and styles to create their own work. Study art, and you will see threads that run through the work of all artists and artistic movements, connecting them to other artists who went before them. Characteristics of creative thinkers. Perhaps you're not even sure what I mean when I ask whether you are a creative thinker. Consider some characteristics that creative thinkers have in common. Creative thinkers value ideas. Annette Moser-Wellman observes, highly creative people are dedicated to ideas. They don't rely on their talent alone, they rely on their discipline. Their imagination is like a second skin. They know how to manipulate it to its fullest. Creativity is about having ideas, lots of them. You will have ideas only if you value ideas. Creative thinkers value ideas because they understand the power and potential of new ideas to change, improve, and innovate in different fields. They believe that ideas are the foundation of progress and that without them, it would be impossible to achieve anything new or different. They also understand that not all ideas are good ones, but that every idea has the potential to lead to other ideas and that it is important to generate as many ideas as possible in order to find the best one. They also value diversity of ideas, as different perspectives and experiences can lead to more original and innovative ideas. Creative thinkers explore options. Creative thinkers are open-minded and curious, and they explore a wide range of options before making a decision. They are not satisfied with the first solution that comes to mind. and they are willing to consider multiple perspectives and approaches. By exploring options, creative thinkers are able to generate new ideas and find unique solutions to problems. I've yet to meet a creative thinker who didn't love options. Exploring a multitude of possibilities helps to stimulate the imagination, and imagination is crucial to creativity. As Albert Einstein put it, imagination is more important than knowledge. People who know me well will tell you that I place a very high value on options. Why? Because they provide the key to finding the best answer, not the only answer. Good thinkers come up with the best answers. They create backup plans that provide them with alternatives. They enjoy freedom that others do not possess, and they will influence and lead others. Creative thinkers embrace ambiguity. Creative thinkers are comfortable with ambiguity and uncertainty. They do not shy away from complex or unclear situations, but rather see them as an opportunity to think differently and come up with innovative solutions. They are able to tolerate a level of vagueness and use it as a tool to generate new ideas. They do not need everything to be spelled out for them and are able to work with incomplete information. This allows them to be open to new possibilities and to see things from different angles. Embracing ambiguity enables creative thinkers to approach problems in a unique way and to find solutions that others may not have considered. Writer H.L. Mencken said, "It is the dull man who is always sure and the sure man who is always dull." Creative people don't feel the need to stamp out uncertainty. They see all kinds of inconsistencies and gaps in life, and they often take delight in exploring those gaps or in using their imagination to fill them in. Creative thinkers celebrate the offbeat. Creativity, by its very nature, often explores off of the beaten path and goes against the grain. Diplomat and longtime president of Yale University Kingman Brewster said, "There is a correlation between the creative and the screwball, so we must suffer the screwball gladly. To foster creativity in yourself or others, be willing to tolerate a little oddness." Creative thinkers celebrate the offbeat, meaning they appreciate and value ideas and perspectives that are unique, unconventional, and unorthodox. They are open to new and different ways of thinking and are not afraid to challenge the status quo. Creative thinkers are interested in exploring unorthodox ideas and concepts and often find inspiration in the unexpected. They are not constrained by conventional thinking and are not afraid to explore new and untested possibilities. Celebrating the offbeat allows creative thinkers to generate new ideas and find innovative solutions. They are not limited by traditional thinking and are able to think differently and see things in a new light. Creative thinkers connect the unconnected. Because creativity utilizes the ideas of others, there's great value in being able to connect one idea to another, especially to seemingly unrelated ideas. Graphic designer Tim Hansen says, "Creativity is especially expressed in the ability to make connections, to make associations, to turn things around and express them in a new way. Creating additional thoughts is like taking a trip in your car. You may know where you are going, but only as you move towards your destination can you see and experience things in a way not possible before you started." Creative thinking works something like this. Think, collect, create, correct, connect is a phrase that suggests a process for approaching problem solving or creating something new. Think. The first step is to engage in critical and creative thinking. This means considering the problem or task at hand from different perspectives, generating ideas, and evaluating potential solutions. Collect. The next step is to gather information and resources that will be needed to complete the task. This could involve researching, interviewing experts, or observing relevant phenomena. Create. After collecting the necessary information, the next step is to start creating something new. This could be a design, a product, a strategy, or a plan. Correct. After creating something, the next step is to evaluate and correct it. This means checking for errors, making revisions, and ensuring that the final product is of high quality. Connect. The final step is to connect the new creation with the audience or the intended use. This could involve testing it, presenting it, or launching it into the market. Overall, this process highlights the importance of both critical and creative thinking, research, and evaluation in order to create something new, corrected, and connected with the intended audience. Once you begin to think, you are free to collect. You ask yourself, what material relates to this thought? Once you have the material, you ask, what ideas can make the thought better? That can start to take an idea to the next level. After that, you can correct or refine it by asking, what changes can make these ideas better? Finally, you connect the ideas by positioning them in the right context to make the thought complete and powerful. Creative thinkers don't fear failure. Creative thinkers don't fear failure because they understand that failure is an integral part of the creative process. They recognize that failure is a natural part of experimenting, trying new things, and pushing boundaries. They view failure as an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. They also know that failure is not the opposite of success, but rather an important step towards it. They don't let the fear of failure hold them back from exploring new ideas or trying new things. Instead, they are willing to take risks and to learn from their mistakes. This mindset allows them to be more innovative, resilient, and persistent in their pursuit of new ideas and solutions. Creativity demands the ability to be unafraid of failure because creativity equals failure. You may be surprised to hear such a statement, but it's true. Charles Frankel asserts that anxiety is the essential condition of intellectual and artistic creation. Creativity requires a willingness to look stupid. It means getting out on a limb, knowing that the limb often breaks. Creative people know these things and still keep searching for new ideas. They just don't let the ideas that don't work prevent them from coming up with more ideas that do work. Why you should discover the joy of creative thinking. Creativity can improve a person's quality of life. Here are 5 specific things creative thinking has the potential to do for you. 1. Creative thinking adds value to everything. Wouldn't you enjoy a limitless reservoir of ideas that you could draw upon at any time? That's what creative thinking gives you. For that reason, no matter what you are currently able to do, creativity can increase your capabilities. Creativity is being able to see what everybody else has seen and think what nobody else has thought so that you can do what nobody else has done. Sometimes creative thinking lies along the lines of invention, where you break new ground. Other times it moves along the lines of innovation, which helps you to do old things in a new way. But either way, it's seeing the world through sufficiently new eyes so that new solutions appear. That always adds value. 2. Creative thinking compounds. Over the years, I found that creative thinking is hard work, but creative thinking compounds given enough time and focus. Perhaps more than any other kind of thinking, creative thinking builds on itself and increases the creativity of the thinker. Poet Maya Angelou observed, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have." Sadly, too often creativity is smothered rather than nurtured. There has to be a climate in which new ways of thinking, perceiving, questioning are encouraged. If you cultivate creative thinking in an environment that nurtures creativity, there's no telling what kind of ideas you can come up with. 3. Creative thinking draws people to you and your ideas. Intelligence having fun is creativity. People are drawn to fun and brains, therefore the two together make for a great mix. It may be argued that Leonardo da Vinci enjoyed using his intellect. The mind is overwhelmed by ideas and knowledge. He was a musician, inventor, engineer, anatomist, architect, and sculptor. Because of him, the phrase Renaissance man was created. People are drawn to creative people today in the same way that they were during the Renaissance to Da Vinci and his ideas. If you develop your creativity, other people will be drawn to you because they will find you more appealing. 4. Creative thinking helps you learn more. Author and creativity expert Ernie Zielinski says, "Creativity is the joy of not knowing it all." The joy of not knowing it all refers to the realization that we seldom, if ever, have all the answers. We always have the ability to generate more solutions to just about any problem. Being creative is being able to see or imagine a great deal of opportunity to life's problems. Creativity is having options. 5. It almost seems too obvious to say, but if you are always actively seeking new ideas, you will learn. Creativity is teachability. It's seeing more solutions than problems. And the greater the quantity of thoughts, the greater the chance for learning something new. 5. Creative thinking challenges the status quo. If you desire to improve your world, or even your own situation, then creativity will help you. The status quo and creativity are incompatible. Creativity and innovation always walk hand in hand. How to discover the joy of creative thinking. At this point, you may be saying, "Okay, I'm convinced that creative thinking is important, but how do I find the creativity within me? How do I discover the joy of creative thought?" Here are 5 ways to do it. 1. Remove creativity killers. Economics professor and humor author Stephen Leacock said, Personally, I would sooner have written Alice in Wonderland than the whole Encyclopedia Britannica. He valued the warmth of creativity over cold facts. If you do too, then you need to eliminate attitudes that devalue creative thinking. Take a look at the following phrases. They are almost guaranteed to kill creative thinking anytime you hear or think them. I'm not a creative person. Follow the rules. Don't ask questions. Don't be different. Stay within the lines. There is only one way. Don't be foolish. Be practical. Be serious. Think of your image. That's not logical. It's not practical. It's never been done. It can't be done. It didn't work for them. We tried that before. It's too much work. We can't afford to make a mistake. It will be too hard to administer. We don't have the time. We don't have the money. Yes, but play is frivolous. Failure is final. If you think you have a great idea, don't let anyone talk you out of it even if it sounds foolish. Don't let yourself or anyone else subject you to creativity killers. After all, you can't do something new and exciting if you force yourself to stay in the same old rut. Don't just work harder at the same old thing. Think creatively by asking the right questions. Creativity is largely a matter of asking the right questions. Management trainer Sir Anthony J. said, "The uncreative mind can spot wrong answers, but it takes a creative mind to spot wrong questions." Wrong questions shut down the process of creative thinking. They direct thinkers down the same old path, or they chide them into believing that thinking isn't necessary at all. To stimulate creative thinking, ask yourself questions such as, why must it be done this way? What is the root problem? What are the underlying issues? What does this remind me of? What is the opposite? What metaphor or symbol helps to explain it? Why is it important? What's the hardest or most expensive way to do it? Who has a different perspective on this? What happens if we don't do it at all? You get the idea, and you can probably come up with better questions yourself. Physicist Tom Hirschfeld observed, if you don't ask, why this? Often enough, somebody will ask, why you? If you want to think creatively, you must ask good questions. You must challenge the process. 3. Develop a creative environment. Charlie Brower said, a new idea is delicate. It can be killed by a sneer or a yawn. It can be stabbed to death by a quip and worried to death by a frown on the right man's brow. Negative environments kill thousands of great ideas every minute. A creative environment, on the other hand, becomes like a greenhouse where ideas get seeded, sprout up, and flourish. A creative environment encourages creativity. David Hill says, studies of creativity suggest that the biggest single variable of whether or not employees will be creative is whether they perceive they have permission. When innovation and good thinking are openly encouraged and rewarded, then people see that they have permission to be creative. Places a high value on trust among team members and individuality. Creativity always risks failure. That's why trust is so important to creative people. In the creative process, trust comes from people working together, from knowing that people on the team have experience launching successful, creative ideas, and from the assurance that creative ideas won't go to waste because they will be implemented. Embraces those who are creative. Creative people celebrate the offbeat. How should creative people be treated? I take the advice of Tom Peters, weed out the dullards, nurture the nuts. I do that by spending time with them, which I enjoy anyway. I especially like to pull people into brainstorming sessions. People look forward to an invitation to such meetings because the time will be filled with energy, ideas, and laughter, and the odds are high that a new project, seminar, or business strategy will result. When that happens, they also know a party's coming. Focuses on innovation, not just invention. Sam Weston, creator of the popular action figure G.I. Joe, said, truly groundbreaking ideas are rare, but you don't necessarily need one to make a career out of creativity. My definition of creativity is the logical combination of two or more existing elements that result in a new concept. The best way to make a living with your imagination is to develop innovative applications, not imagine completely new concepts. Creative people say, give me a good idea and I'll give you a better idea. Is willing to let people go outside the lines. Most people automatically stay within lines, even if those lines have been arbitrarily drawn or are terribly out of date. Remember, most limitations we face are not imposed on us by others. We place them on ourselves. Lack of creativity often falls into that category category. If you want to be more creative, challenge boundaries. Inventor Charles Kettering said, "All human development, no matter what form it takes, must be outside the rules. Otherwise, we would never have anything new." A creative environment takes that into account, appreciates the power of a dream. A creative environment promotes the freedom of a dream. A creative environment encourages the use of a blank sheet of paper and the question, if we could draw a picture of what we want to accomplish, what would that look like? A creative environment allowed Martin Luther King, Jr., to speak with passion and declare to millions, "I have a dream, not I have a goal." Goals may give focus, but dreams give power. Dreams expand the world. That is why James Allen suggested that dreamers are the saviors of the world. The more creativity-friendly you can make your environment, the more potential it has to become creative. 4. Spend time with other creative people. What if you have little control over the environment at work and it's adverse to creativity? One option is to shift careers. But suppose, despite the unfavorable atmosphere, you want to continue working there. The best thing you can do is figure out a way to interact with other creatives. Creativity spreads easily. Ever observed what transpires during a productive brainstorming session? One person makes a suggestion. It serves as a jumping-off point for someone else to come up with another concept. Another person spins it off in an even better direction. Then someone seizes control of it and elevates it significantly. The exchange of ideas can be enthralling. I'm surrounded by a lot of creative people in my life. I make it a point to visit them frequently. I always feel revitalized, am bursting with ideas, and have a fresh perspective when I leave them. They are truly essential to my existence. It is a known fact that when you spend a lot of time with someone, you start to think like them. You will become more creative the more time you can spend with creative individuals doing creative things. 5. Get out of your box. Actress Katharine Hepburn remarked, "If you obey all the rules, you will miss all the fun." While I don't think it's necessary to break all the rules, many are in place to protect us. I do think it's unwise to allow self-imposed limitations to hinder us. Creative thinkers know that they must repeatedly break out of the box of their own history and personal limitations in order to experience creative breakthroughs. The most effective way to help yourself get out of the box is to expose yourself to new paradigms. One way you can do that is by traveling to new places. Explore other cultures, countries, and traditions. Find out how people very different from you live and think. Another is to read on new subjects. I'm naturally curious and love to learn, but I still have a tendency to read books only on my favorite subjects, such as leadership. I sometimes have to force myself to read books that broaden my thinking because I know it's worth it. If you want to break out of your own box, get into somebody else's. Read broadly. Many people mistakenly believe that if individuals aren't born with creativity, they will never be creative. But you can see from the many strategies and examples I've given that creativity can be cultivated in the right supportive environment. Story part: something to eat, drink, plant for just $1. Together we will discover the moral of the story. There was once a very wealthy merchant that had very little to worry about in his life. He had all the material comforts he could possibly want or need, a beautiful and faithful wife, many good friends, and a big family. But still, there was something that was bothering him. His biggest concern was his eldest son, who was very lazy and showed no intelligence or creativity, much less any willingness to work. However, the merchant's wife did not share her husband's concerns and always made excuses for her son and thought the best of him. But even that did not change the fact that the boy was getting older and it was time for him to start taking on responsibilities. One day while eating dinner, the merchant and his wife confronted their eldest son about his responsibilities. The merchant made it clear that his son had 1 month's time to prove that he can be trusted with the family business and the wealth that comes with it. The test was very simple, and by solving it, the son would prove that he is very resourceful, clever, and capable of thinking outside the box. These were all of the traits the merchant prided himself on and accredited great meaning to his success in business. The merchant gave his son just $1 with which he had to bring home something to eat, drink, plant in the garden, and feed the cow. Everything else the son had until this point was taken away from him. He could only come home to eat and sleep. The rest he had to manage with just $1 he had received from his father. The merchant also didn't allow any help from any of the family members, friends, or existing business partners. The merchant's son took the coin and off he went to prove to his father that he is more than capable of taking over the family business. After a week of unsuccessful searching, negotiating, and begging with local vendors, the son confided to his mother that he was worried that he wouldn't be able to deliver what he needed to his father. The mother calmed him down and suggested he starts taking long trips around town, and even out of town where he had never been yet, so that he may find new ideas and meet new people who might help him find the solution to his problem. The son did what his mother suggested, and after another week had passed, he still wasn't any closer to a solution. By this time, even though he still had 2 weeks until his deadline, he was ready to give up. But then, just as he was walking home from a nearby village, there was a young, beautiful woman that was pushing a full cart of vegetables and fruit. To impress her, he quickly walked up to her and offered to help. To the young man's luck, she was headed into town like he was and was more than happy to accept his help. During their journey to town, they talked a lot, and the young man found out that the young woman was living in town taking care of her mother, but was traveling to the nearby village a couple of times a week to help out her grandparents on their family farm. In return, her grandparents gave her vegetables and fruit to sell in the town market. Ever since that day, the merchant's son was in love and was willing to do anything to gain the young woman's heart. The first thing he did the next day was search for the young woman at the market. Then he spent his whole day with her selling fruit and vegetables and walking to the near village to work on her grandparents' farm. And as the day was ending, he helped her push the cart full of fruit and vegetables back to town. The next day he did the same, and so the day after and the day after that. It didn't take long for the two of them to fall in love, and they became a couple. Days flew by like hours while they were together, and every moment they weren't felt like an eternity. The young man forgot about the task his father gave him, and on the night before the deadline was due, his mother reminded him if he had found the solution. The young man was taken aback by how fast time has passed. That night he couldn't fall asleep and thought hard about what the solution could be, but he couldn't come up with it. The next morning he again went to the market to meet his girlfriend. She noticed he was different than any other day before. She asked him what was wrong, and when he told her about his father's task, she just smiled back and told him to give her the coin. The young man gave her the coin, and she, in turn, gave him the biggest watermelon she had. The young man looked strange at the girl, but before he could say anything, she just smiled and reminded him what they did every day since the day they met. Suddenly, the young man understood what she meant, thanked her, and went straight to his father. When he arrived, the whole family was already waiting for the young man in the family dining room. When he presented the solution to his father, everyone looked at the young man with confusion except for his father, who with a smile asked his son to explain to everyone why he brought a watermelon on which he spent just 1 coin. And no more. The son took the watermelon and put it in front of him at the dining table. He also asked for a cutting board, a knife, a ladle, a bucket, and a large pitcher. As he started to cut the watermelon, he explained that he had met a girl he fell in love with and was helping her every day on her grandparents' farm in the fields where they grew different vegetables and fruit. After that, he helped her transport the freshly picked vegetables and fruit to the town market and sell them. Since it was hot, they usually ate freshly cut slices of watermelon when they were on a break to cool down. While saying this, he handed out plates with pieces of watermelon to every family member so that they could eat. Then he took the rest of the watermelon and cut the middle pink flesh of the fruit into small pieces, which he then put in the pitcher and squeezed the juice out of the pink middle with the ladle. Finally, he poured the watermelon juice into each of his family members' cups through a strainer, which caught the watermelon seeds and small pieces of the pink middle. While doing this, he continued to explain that whenever he or his girlfriend were thirsty, they had made watermelon juice for them. While his family was eating and drinking the watermelon, the merchant's eldest son carefully picked the watermelon seeds and dried them off with a towel and put them in a small container. He also collected the green hard peels and put them in a separate bucket. When the merchant's son was done, he explained that they used the seeds to grow more watermelons, and they used the green peel of the watermelon to feed all of the animals on the farm, including cows. And that is how he found the perfect solution he could buy for just 1 coin. Moral of the story: to solve a new problem, you may need to get new experiences and new insights. Sometimes there is a simple solution to a difficult problem, but because you haven't used that one thing in a certain way, you cannot see it as a solution. Thank you for watching, and I hope you will become rich one day, and I promise to help you and give you everything you need to be able to walk the path of wealth. But be ready.